Hey guys, welcome back to Let's Play Sonic 4 on the 360, Episode 2. In the last part we unlocked Death Egg Zone Mark 2, but before heading there I'm actually going to show off all the special stages. This is going to be all 7 of them back to back, and I know that I already showed off the first special stage, which I failed before, and I also showed off me doing the second special stage, but I thought, well, if I'm going to be showing off 3 to 7, I might as well show the first 2 as well, so... yeah, you already know the deal with the first few. They're pretty easy. None of these are like perfect runs, by the way. For this first stage, there's actually an achievement to collect all the rings, which, as you just saw there, I failed at. So I'll have to get that achievement at some point. But yeah, none of these are like perfect runs, but they are runs where I actually did do it and actually got the Chaos Emerald. So it still counts. You know, you don't have to be the best to get them. So, with these special stages, I already talked about them a bit in the LP, but these are my favourite special stages by far. I've now gone through and done them all at this point, obviously, so it's like this is the only Sonic game where I actually managed to do them all. The closest I got beforehand was Sonic Heroes, but they were just so horrible, those special stages. They were kind of similar to these special stages, but they were just so horrible, you know, that I couldn't do them. I just couldn't get to the end of them. But what makes these ones good is that one problem I have with the special stages in general with Sonic games is the lack of control you have, and this game kind of makes it so you have a nice amount of control when doing the special stages. Like with Sonic 1 you're just kind of falling and tilting and whatever and all that, just you're a little ball. Sonic 2 you did have some sort of control, but the controls were kind of like a bit slippery and all over the place. Then Sonic 3 you were constantly going forward and had to like move left and right, and it wasn't really that good. I mean, I'm interested to see how in episode 3, if they do it at 1, how they're going to handle the special stages from Sonic 3, because I'm sure the 3D versions and the new ones they do will be probably the best special stages, but for now they actually took the old Sonic 2 ones and made them a lot better, like a lot more enjoyable to just play. And what makes them better than episode 1 is that you still have to get to the end of a stage with 50 rings, but they've put so many rings in the stages that it's easy to do. It's not frustrating to do. It's not, as you've already seen in the LP, you're not guaranteed to get 50 rings by the end of the stage, especially if it's your first time doing it. But if you played the stage a couple of times, you probably are going to get 50 rings, so you can get to the special stage a lot easier than in episode 1, because episode 1 the stages were longer as well. Like, this game's just better designed, you know, it's like these stages are longer when you first play through them, the normal acts, and then they become, once you know what to do, they become shorter so you can get to the end quicker. And replaying the levels in this game is a lot more enjoyable, so actually getting to the special stage, if you've missed out on them, or if you just failed them, is a lot easier and a lot more pleasant to do because of the rings, so it's not as frustrating. With episode 1 it was more frustrating to do. So, yeah, so they're easier to get to, and also you can pause it at any point during the special stage and hit retry. Now, I know in episode 1 this was also the case. If you were failing, you could press start and hit retry. But the problem there is that you can never, sometimes you can't see failure coming. With this one, if you get to the goal or to the checkpoint and you don't have enough rings, then you know, okay, I failed, I need to press pause and retry, it's no problem. But with episode 1, you can just hit one bumper, hit an exclamation mark, and you failed. That's it. That's as quick as that, you know? So it was kind of good that they had it in episode 1, but it wasn't really too useful that you could pause and retry, apart from for a couple of the stages. With this one, it means that once you get to a special stage, you can keep retrying it, and because there's still some memorization in this special stage, like the original Sonic 2 special stages. So actually being able to just pause and retry so you can play it over and over so you can learn each stage better, it's a lot more fun. I didn't really find any of them too frustrating. Obviously the hardest one was the last one, but we'll get to that when we get to that. But these are better than Sonic 2 special stages because also you have a decent chance of doing it first time, and if you don't do it first time you can just pause the game and hit retry. With Sonic 2, I felt like you didn't really have any chance of doing some of the later ones first try. Like, past probably like the third one, Mainly because of the graphics, really, like the way things came towards you. With some of the mines, you didn't really have that much of a chance to jump and get out the way, or know where certain rings are so you can jump and get them. But with these ones you do. You actually see everything coming. There's a couple of moments where there's like hills and inclines, so you can't really see certain mines and rings coming. But overall, it's really not too bad. And it's also very nice that Tails can collect rings in this one. But when he gets hit, he doesn't lose them. It's genius. It's brilliant. It's brilliant that they did that. Because that's one thing that was annoying about the other ones, and with Sonic 2, that from a lot of LPs I've seen, a lot of people will actually turn off Tails. So when they do the special stage, they don't have Tails grabbing any rings that he can then lose. Like in this one, he grabs rings. He has those rings. Like, he doesn't lose them. He just keeps them. It's great. They really, in this game in general, they really did make Tails. Like, Tails is still pretty much... He does die all the time and still kind of useless, but he's a lot more useful than before. And now that there's like a proper co-op mode. Because that's another thing, if you can play these stages in co-op, I believe, which can be an advantage or a disadvantage depending on how bad the other player is. Like, you still have to memorize the whole zone, but there are some bits in this one where you kind of have to have two players. Like, you've probably already seen it. There's this weird, like, little power-up with a hand on it, which what it does, it links Sonic and Tails together, so when you go left, Tails will, like, delay behind you. As you can see, most of the time he sticks as close behind you as he can, but with this thing he kind of, like, delays, so you can, like, slingshot him to grab rings, because when he can grab rings and then he keeps them. So you slingshot him around and he grabs rings, and it's pretty cool. There's also these sections where it says collect rings, and if you manage to get all the rings in this one particular section, you'll then get a bonus, more bonus rings. And in the first few stages, like in this one, you don't really need to get it. Like, it's a nice boost, and if you're going for high scores, then yeah, you're gonna want to make sure you get every ring so you get the ring bonus. But you don't have to get them. This is only the 4th stage, so it's not too bad. In the later stages though, the ones that we're about to see, that's when you do have to get them, which is kind of annoying because there's some sections where you have to slingshot Tails to get rings, and it's a decent enough mechanic. And actually, one thing I found interesting about these stages is that it wasn't about split point, it wasn't about your reaction time. Not really. It's not really about your reaction time. It's more about actually knowing the stage, which, if it was one of the old Mega Drive games, that would have been a problem because I wouldn't have been able to pause and hit retry. But with this one, I can just pause, hit retry, and then I know the stage a bit more. So you don't actually have to be the best player in the world. You just have to be able to figure out exactly where to go. You just kind of have to come up with your own strategy. That's where the skill comes, not with the whole being super quick, because I guess they realise that the controls aren't the best thing about any of the special stages, so expecting a player to be really skilled at a special stage is kind of a bit flawed, you know? It's like, yeah, it's like giving someone like a broken bike and then saying bike over there or something, and they're just struggling along, and I don't know, that's kind of a bad metaphor, but you know what I'm saying. They knew the flaws of the special stage, but they kind of wanted to keep to the Sonic 2 one. Although one thing that would have been kind of cool if they could have done the Sonic CD ones. In case you don't know what they are, this where you got, because the Sega CD was more powerful than the Mega Drive or the Genesis, then you could actually, you're running around in like a semi 3D world, and you had to jump into these UFOs and you had to destroy them all within the time limit. And if you hit the water, then you lost time. So they could have done that, mainly because this game is based on Sonic CD in a lot of ways, with Metal Sonic and all that. I mean, there's really not that much here based on Sonic CD, but with this game coming out, it pretty much does confirm there's going to be no version of Sonic CD in Episode 4, because this is mostly based on Sonic 2. Mostly, there's some stuff from Sonic CD in there, but it's mostly based on Sonic 2. So obviously, you would assume that the next episode is going to have a lot of Sonic 3 and Knuckles stuff, and Knuckles should hopefully return. If they wanted to really, like, kick everyone in the balls, they could, have, like, Silver come back. Have a whole 2D Sonic game where you just fight Silver all the time. I think that would be quite a funny troll. So we're now on the 6th one, and this is when it actually gets hard. This is the one that I actually failed a couple of times before doing. You just kind of have to know where things are and jump over certain mines and be able to grab the rings in time. It's not too tricky. I just failed it a few times because I didn't really know the stage too well, but this one again isn't too bad. I just had a bit of trouble with it. So one thing I want to quickly talk about is how I've mentioned reviews of this game, and you're probably sick of me talking about them, but I just want to mention how stupid it is, how the media is like, because obviously you have fan reaction and the media's reaction, or the reviewers' reaction. And the reviewers' reactions and media seems to be, it's better than episode 1, but it's not as good as episode 1. Like, in terms of scores, it's done a lot worse than episode 1, even though 90% of the reviews I've seen say it's better than episode 1, which just shows how fake the media is. You know, if you want a decent review, you really do at this point have to go for the like the YouTubers like myself, not to promote myself, but you know, people on YouTube and people on YouTube and just talking to your mates if you want to have an honest opinion of a game, not just one that tries to satisfy everyone. Because Sonic Episode 1 didn't get bad reviews because they didn't know how the fans were going to react to it. Like, it was a broken game, but in theory the fans should have loved it, and the fans kind of did in a way, because it was new 2D Sonic, so the media didn't want to give it bad reviews, or that would make everyone upset. If they turned around and said, oh sorry Sonic fans, this new 2D Sonic, which is building up to it was everything they ever wanted in a Sonic game. If the media turned around and said they were bad, then people aren't going to like the media. But if they gave it decent reviews, then they couldn't really complain, because then people would play it and realise it's not too great. But with this game, now that the nostalgia of episode 2 or of new 2D Sonic has kind of gone away, the media can now get away with giving it low reviews, and yeah, they can just get away with it without pissing off too many people. They can just do that. But anyway, enough about my crazy conspiracies about the media. It's completely true, by the way. They're all just a bunch of people pleasers, and it's all about money and pleasing their audience rather than honest reviews. So don't listen to most big mainstream things. But this is the final stage. This is stage 7, the one I definitely had the most trouble with. And if you want to do it, it's going to take you a few times just to make sure you get certain rings at certain places. But a lot of it, again, is strategy. It's knowing exactly where to go. It's knowing stuff rather than actually being super skillful at jumping at certain points. And the first one only requires you to get 120, but that's not enough. If you don't have 150 and more, hit retry straight away. There's honestly no point in trying to do it if you don't have more than 150 on that first bit. And then this one you're trying to get 350, and this is the main bit. With that bit you have to use your boost, because in these stages they give you a boost, which is the X button on the 360, and if you don't use your boost on that bit, you won't be able to go up on top and go all the way round. You'll just kind of go halfway up and then have to go down again. So use your boost on that bit, you'll get a ton of rings. You'll get, at the moment I have 447, and I only needed 350 for the last one, so I got tons more than I needed. It all comes down to that. And then this third bit is where you have to slingshot Tails, which, yeah, I actually do it there. It's hard to do. If you had a second player, it would be a lot easier, but you have to get a couple of these collect the ring bits. You have to do them. That bit I never did. I never did that one. I never collected all those rings, when really you just have to kind of have to slingshot it and do it that way. But and then this one, the hardest part I had about collecting all those rings was actually seeing where the first one was. I never saw it in time. So at this point I was kind of panicking. You need 500 rings to pass, so I was going through, and yeah, on this bit you need to slingshot a bit again to make sure you get these 3 rings, but I didn't. But I managed to get up 501. So that's it. That's all the special stages. That's all the Chaos Emeralds done. I hope you enjoyed this part. I hope you enjoyed seeing the special stages, and I hope you seeing this makes you realise it's really not that hard. Sometimes the special stage in Sonic games can be a bit daunting to do. I've never personally done them all until this game, so the fact that I could do them, and I'm not a very good Sonic player, means that whoever watching out there can do it. So I've been Arsenal23, and stay tuned to the next part of Let's Play Sonic 4 Episode 2, where I will take on Death Egg Mark II. And I now have Super Sonic, so maybe he'll make an appearance, I don't know, maybe. So yeah, I've been Arsenal23, and I'll see you next time, guys.